Welcome to Mastering the Art of Success. I'm your host, Debbie DiMaggio. We are here today with my newest friend, Corinne Pampinella. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Debbie. I'm so excited to be here.
So excited to be here. It is just in my book, Mindset in Motion, Activate Purpose, Power, and Peak Performance. I talk about getting into motion and activating. And even if you don't feel like it, you get up and you go and you move. I am always in motion. And what I find is so interesting, I may be going somewhere and I don't know where I'm going, but then people will come into my vortex like you, out of nowhere in the last 6 days, I'd say. And I am so grateful to know you. It's just crazy how things happen. And let me just, before I go into who she is, I just want to say we met because I have a new goal. My new goal is to continue the work of my book, Mindset in Motion, but testing it, putting it out there because of an email I received from the Great World Race, which is 7 marathons in 7 continents in 7 days. I thought it was a little crazy, but then I dug a little deeper and all these weird signs started coming my way saying it's not ridiculous and it's possible. And because I really want to prove that the Mindset in Motion 5-step method works, and I will activate and I will train and I will bring in supportive people. And Corinne is one of those supportive people, and you'll learn about her today. So I'm so happy to know you in these last few days, and I know we're going to be very good friends for a long time to come. And we are so in alignment with our giving back and helping younger people. So Corinne is executive director of Girls on the Run North Bay, a youth development nonprofit that combines social, emotional learning with physical activity to build confidence and resilience in girls age 8 to 13, impacting 800 girls annually across Napa, Solano, Sonoma counties. Corinne brings a rare blend of business acumen and mission-driven leadership to the role. She spent 15 years in C-level positions as CEO, COO, CTO, and an influencer marketing company of an influencer marketing company, began her career as a computer science engineer, and later became a certified life coach before stepping into nonprofit leadership. That full arc of technical, operational, and people leadership experience shapes how she runs Girls on the Run North Bay today, with the same rigor and accountability she brought to the businesses she built. Wow, that is a lot of different background. And I always like to start. Did you know where you'd be today when you were growing up? Did you have any idea that you would be here? And with that background, I could say probably not. So, where are you from and how did you
No.
get here?
Well, I mean, my childhood journey was also a travel. I grew up. I was born in England.
Oh, wow.
Um, yes, so I was born in England, in London. My family moved to the United States on the East Coast, so New York, in when I was 4 years old. And I grew up in Connecticut for most of my childhood. So when I was 14, my dad's work brought us over here to the Bay Area, so in Santa Clara
Oh,
specifically. Um, but oftentimes kids are asked what do they want to be when they grow up, and I never really knew. Like I think I just kind of gave a boilerplate answer of I don't know, a doctor, right? Or
right.
one
A
of those
doctor or lawyer.
conservative doctor or lawyer, one of those conservative occupations. And I was always just kind of, like I don't know. I guess I'll figure it out when I'm there. My dad was an engineer, so he was an electrical engineer. At some point in my middle school and high school era, I did feel like I wanted to be an architect. That's what I wanted to study. And so when I got into Berkeley and I was very excited, I actually told my dad that I wanted to be an architect. And he says, um, well, that's not an appropriate major for women. So he basically was like, no, you're not doing that. You're not doing that. And I'm trying to negotiate with him because what I really loved about architecture was that it was a really nice blend of science, like math and physics and all of that, engineering and art. And I really equally loved art. And so I was like, well, this is a great way to apply both of these things that I really like feel like I'm good at and that I love. But he was like, yeah, no, it's not good. It's not great. It's not going to be good for you. You know, like you're not going to make a lot of money. There's not a lot of occupations out there, and it's not for women. And then I said, okay, well, how about civil engineering? It's sort of tangential to architecture. It's engineering, and I thought, okay, he's good for engineering. And
Yeah.
he goes, oh no, absolutely not. You're climbing buildings? No, that is not for women. No, no, no. And
Oh, wow.
yeah, and he actually said to me, he goes, listen, because he saw how passionate I was and I was kind of pushing back a little bit. He says, listen, if you are going to want to take one of those majors, good luck on your own. I'm not supporting your education
Oh
financially.
my gosh. Wow.
Yeah, I know. And so me as a, high schooler, I had a really hard decision to make, which, in retrospect, I don't know if it was the right one, but I ended up studying electrical engineering, computer science, which is his major. And of course I knew he would be happy with it. So I did that. And, in retrospect, ironically, electrical engineering, computer science, amongst all of those engineering majors, is very male dominated. Yeah, there's still
Right.
not a lot of women in there. So I still
Right.
feel like I was like navigating a lot of those challenges of being like one of one of the 10 women in a class of like 200. That's
Wow.
really the statistic. So um yeah, that's how I got into that major. I'm not sure that I really I loved it at the
And then
time, but
how did you, and so what did you do with that? So you graduated and then what did you do with that? And how long were you in all these other positions before you got to where you are?
yeah, I actually was in the profession of so I went into software and computer science as the emphasis, and I did that for about 12 years uh, in that major. I did a lot of the Silicon Valley startups, but I also did
Oh,
government work in the beginning, and and big company. I worked for Wells Fargo for a good long time. That was sort of the last phase of my um, corporate science, engineering era there. But what I did love about it, what actually made me continue to want to do it, was the creation aspect. And
okay.
yeah, so when you are coding, when you're creating a program and it makes something work, that was my personal sort of joy out of that. It was like, ah, I did this. I created this thing, I designed it, and it's now functioning. And
Wow.
there's a little bit of that, excitement that comes with that dopamine hit in a way.
Right.
Um,
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah.
And what
So
was it, how did you pivot from that world into the nonprofit world? What was that thing that you woke up one day and said, I'm leaving that for this? Very different.
yes, well, there was a big phase in between where I was plateauing where I was. I was
Okay.
working at Wells Fargo. It was a big company. I didn't feel like I was growing. And my roommate at the time, she wanted to start a different business. And this is pre mobile phones, pre Instagram
Oh,
days.
wow. Okay.
And she wanted to start a website that um, was more built on community and sort of like in a particular silo of category. And back then, this was something that you see it now everywhere, but back then this
Right.
wasn't a thing. So since I was sort of plateauing, she needed someone to help build the website and sort of get it up and running. And I think that was my opportunity to still apply my technical skills, but do it in a different way. Um, I did that. I ended up quitting my nice stable job at Wells Fargo and decided to start start this business with her and a couple other people. And um, my father, who in retrospect is really the one that really challenged all of my resilience, and I thank him today for everything that I have learned. But he essentially, so direct, said to me, you are what? You are quitting your job, your well-paid
Right.
job, to do this. And he said, flat out said to me, you're going to fail. He
Oh
flat
my
out said
gosh,
that.
he's tough. He's tough.
He was tough love, and I think that in a way ignited me to say, okay, I'm gonna prove this guy wrong. This guy has been like beating
Right.
me down for 2 decades. I need to I now can manage on my own. I'm gonna do this, and I kept asking myself, I said, um, if you don't take this opportunity now, are you going to regret it? And that answer was very quickly yes, I would regret it. I would want, there's going to be no other time. This is the time.
Right.
And so
Right.
with that, I just, didn't turn back. I was like, we're going to do this. And I put all of my energy into making this work, making this successful. I was like, we have to make it. We have to make it. So progressively, I would go home and visit my dad, and he'd be like, so, uh, you guys bankrupt yet?
Oh my God, he's so mean.
And he was waiting. He was waiting for me to be like, "Oh, it's so hard. I'm struggling." I would
Right.
say, he's like, "No, no, we're still hanging in there." And he next visit, he'd be like, "So, you still making money?" And I say like, "Yeah, we just secured our first $1 million deal." And then he'd be
Wow.
and then he'd be like, "Hmm." And then he just wouldn't say anything. And then progressively he just stopped asking because then he knew, okay, this my daughter did what she did. She's proven me wrong. I'm just gonna not
Right.
say anything anymore, and that was his way of saying, "Okay, good job, you did it."
And
So,
sometimes, and what was the company? And it was so successful, it sounded like.
it was called Chictopia, and then it evolved into, I was there for 15 years, and
Oh,
it
long
evolved
time.
in yeah, and so it evolved into being, an influencer marketing business, and
Oh,
we changed our name to be, Creator Deck, and it's still there today. I'm no longer there
yeah,
actively, but that company is still there, still doing influencer marketing things. Um,
that's
but to answer your
amazing.
original question of just like how did I just keep going, right, into nonprofit,
Yes,
which it's sort of like how did you get from here to here? I think
right.
I just felt I at some point I felt very burnt out.
Hmm.
I did take a break to sort of, reset a little bit. And at that point, one of my friends who was working with Girls on the Run, she asked me if I wanted to be a co-coach with her to coach a group of girls with the group. And so I said, sure. Like what else am I doing? I actually have this time. I think I felt compelled to do it. So once I did that, it really was a reflection of me thinking, okay, I need to start putting my self-care first, and I need to think about my priorities. And I think I was already starting to feel that way, but this push to do this coaching opportunity and everything just really kind of solidified a lot of the emotions I was already feeling. And
Right.
yeah, and I was at a point where I said, well, I should be starting to say yes to more of me
Right.
and less of, doing stuff for others. Cause I definitely come from the world of people pleasing. As you can tell, I pleased my dad
Right.
for however
Wow.
many years, to the detriment of me, and so I
Right.
said, listen, I gotta do this for me. And that's how I started my journey into exploring the nonprofit world. Shortly thereafter, I was asked to be the board chair of Girls on the Run North Bay. I had never been on a board, and let alone be a board chair. But I was like, well, let's do it. Let's just learn all these things. So,
I believe
uh,
that. I think I always say yes before I even know what it is because I find out if we jump in, the rest will follow. Um, what do you think about that? What is your outlook? I mean, a lot of these things you jumped in. What are some lessons? Let's go back to the influencer company
mm,
that you are fighting an uphill battle against your father, which is your father, your blood, your person who you look up to, whether, you agree with him or not. And then you were starting something brand new after you left Wells Fargo, and I'm sure you had 401k and health benefits and everything else. So, what lessons can you tell us about resilience? And, you didn't have all your supportive people around you. So, give us some lessons that you learned in that that startup?
Yeah, I love that question. I think at some point you are faced with a challenge. The resilience comes from being faced with this challenge and questioning your true values. And at that point, when you are faced with that, you have to then do that reflection and know, like, okay, are you going to give up some part of your value system to do this thing that you don't even want to do? And so the resilience comes from having that passion and wanting to fight for what you believe in. And if you do believe in that, it's worth fighting for, because you won't be resilient for things that don't really mean a lot to you. That's what I've
Right,
felt like for myself. Like I did this because it was important to me to to learn, to keep doing something new. I wasn't getting what I was getting out of that job. I needed to keep going. I was pulled here. And so that resilience comes from fighting for what it is. And like even when I look at you, Debbie, and like you're doing this amazing, challenging thing of 7 marathons, 7 countries, 7 days. To me, when I look at that and I see that, it seems like it's not so much about the race, but really what does the race represent?
right,
Like what does that represent in your values? And that was what it was for me with leaving that job and moving to this other job. It wasn't really about the job. It was really about
right,
what would I get out of that job personally, this ability to do something on my own and really create and all of those things that matter to you. So I that's what I encourage other people to do, is like, what is, when you're resilient and is really what you're passionate, and
right.
you're
I love
passionate
it.
things.
That's so true. I mean, you nailed it on the head. I mean, first of all, I talk about my book is in three parts, and it's the game, the pre-game, the game, and the end of the game. And oftentimes we don't learn when we win, right? We win from our losses, and so you really wanted to jump into this thing and try it, and you didn't know if it was you were going to sink or swim, and you had your dad in your ear going, you're going to fail, you're going to fail, you're going to fail. And so, but I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, you kind of lost, I talk about the spark that ignites the fire, and I feel like at Wells Fargo, in your job prior, you had lost that spark, you had done it, and you found, joy once in a while and creating something, but you kind of, the fire was flickering. and this and
Absolutely.
and then this new thing came, and it was like, she's your partner was dedicated and you wanted to give it a try. And I felt like I could just feel like you were probably so excited again to try something. And this time you were older, so you could tell your dad, you had probably had some money in the bank, and you were like, okay, yes, as a high schooler, I can imagine saying, okay, I'll do what dad says. But at this point, you started to really fine tune who you were. And I think we have to listen to that. Who are we? Like, a lot of times when the kids were growing up in school, I was belittling myself in a place to fit in, and I wasn't fully expressing myself. And only
Mhm.
after I launched into the empty nest and had to recreate community, it took me a while to figure out what that was. And this podcast is just another reflection of me trying to grow. I never did a podcast before. I went on live the first time and just said, I'll figure it out. If I don't try, I won't be able to figure it out. So I think by challenging ourselves, that's where we find that resilience. So I love your story and didn't want to gloss over it because there was so many good nuggets in that.
Yes, you hit the nail on the head on that too. Absolutely, absolutely.
Good.
Finding those challenges for sure.
And then it looks like, but because I know as someone, anytime I do something, there has to be a charity component. My first book contained beauty. The net proceeds went to George Mark Children's House. So, and then when I decided I wanted to do the Great World Race, but it had to have a charity component as well as the mission of I want people to choose a goal of their own. So it's not about me. I'm the catalyst to get people to
Mhm.
find a goal, to choose a goal, and to stick with it and to work on it. But I was introduced to you by Jesse, Core, and Melanie, and I'm just so grateful for you guys. And I couldn't think of a better charity, Girls on the Run. So let's break down Girls on the Run. Tell me what that is, because I'm new to it and I'm ready to start running races. If there was one tomorrow, I would join you guys. So I'm ready to start coaching and helping you and jumping full in. So tell us about Girls on the Run, because I don't know if everyone
Oh,
knows about it.
No, and I feel like everyone should. So like
Yeah.
just even that ability to have this, I am so grateful to be connected to you, uh, and I know you mentioned this in the beginning, but I also believe that the universe also lands things in your lap when they're meant to be. And in this particular case, all of the little nuggets that lead up to how we met at this particular time, I think it's just
Right.
beautiful. So
Yeah.
like full on, just so excited about that.
Mm.
And Girls on the Run, it's a program that started in North Carolina 30 years ago. Since then, we Girls on the Run North Bay is basically one of many different councils, different areas that focus using the curriculum, the licensed curriculum of Girls on the Run. But we are our own separate entities within each of the cities
Okay.
that sort of have like this, model where we are connected to this national program, but we are also self-run, self-contained. And within the counties that we are in this area, which is Napa County, Solano, and Sonoma counties in California. We help girls find their limitless potential. And
Love that.
really, what that really is teaching girls at this critical age. We help girls between ages of 8 and 13, so third through fifth graders and middle schoolers. Two different types of programs cater to them where we are using moving and this five aspect of completing a 5K run as really a vehicle for them to learn the skills, the hard skills of life, as well as managing stress and really realizing that they can do hard things. And you don't need to be a runner. You don't need
Mhm.
to love running, even. But what we all are saying is moving is really great for it's critical actually for helping
Right.
you manage stress and emotions. And that's
Absolutely.
one aspect of it. The other aspect is really just we also emphasize giving some real frameworks and real tools for these girls that stay with them past the program that they can use to like when they are going to be stressed or when they are going to face some challenge and maybe they will also have someone, a loved one in their life telling them, no, no, no.
Right.
But how can you have that confidence to stand up to them, to speak with compassion? So it's not just that we're speaking up again to others, but we're doing it in a way that's compassionate with empathy and knowing that we are all together in it. So this aspect of community is also great that we have with Girls
Love
on
it.
the Run. Yeah, and we actually have each of the girls, like, they come in these groups of 15, after school, this program that we have, and one of the things they do is create a project to give back to the community,
Oh,
and
yeah.
yeah, and they choose what community means to them, and
Uh-huh.
it's deliberate that you don't or you're not leveraging a lot of money for it. So it's really
Right.
things like you have some paper and some markers and yourself and things that you can pull from the house. What do you think you can do to give back to the community given that you only have this much? So it really is talking about the act of service and this ability to give back and how that really makes someone feel like that it's meaningful for them and allow them to realize they're part of something bigger than just themselves.
I love it. So there's community, you're building confidence, there's a commitment to showing up. There's an athletic
Yeah,
feat, and again, you don't have to run fast or hard. You just need to try because everyone will succeed however it is on their own level. So you're giving so
absolutely.
much to the girls. It's incredible. Well, we'll be right back with Corinne and Girls on the Run and my new friend.
Did you know that your beliefs create your entire reality, but it's the subconscious beliefs that do most of the creating? Belief shifter and life coach Shiraz can help you identify those limiting beliefs and eliminate them, often in a single session.
Like it was almost instant. Like I had relief right away.
Creating better health, relationships, careers, and finances. Let Shiraz help you step out of safety and into awareness.
definitely something's happening. It's like a flow inside. It feels good.
Whether in person or online, Shiraz provides personal coaching, belief shifting. Visit Shiraz at energeticmagic.com or call 416-529-7429. Energetic Magic. Find your greater happiness. Be well. Be aware. Be magical. Mike Zorek, a three-time California state champion in Greco-Roman wrestling at 114 pounds. Mike, blind since birth, was born in Hartford, Connecticut. He was a six-time national placer, including 2 seconds, 2/3, and 2/4. He also won the Veterans Folk-Style Wrestling twice at 152 pounds. In all these tournaments, he was the only blind competitor. Nancy Zorek, a creative spirit whose talents have taken her to the stage and into galleries and exhibitions in several states. Her father, a commercial artist who shared his instruments with his daughter and helped her fine-tune her natural abilities, influenced her decision to follow in his footsteps. Ms. Zorek has enjoyed a fruitful career doing what she loves. Listen Saturday mornings at 12 Eastern for the Nancy and Mike Show for heartwarming stories and interesting talk.
Welcome back to Mastering the Art of Success. I'm your host, Debbie DiMaggio. We are here with Corinne Pampinella from Girls on the Run. So I just learned about Girls on the Run, and then I learned that Girls on the Run is international. But then even within the San Francisco Bay Area, there are many groups. And then there's your group. So why would someone choose to go to donate and help your group as opposed to another group? Anything you can shed on that would be helpful to our
Right.
listeners.
Yeah. Yeah. And of course, like if you are wanting to, I love all the councils in terms of where we we have a Silicon Valley Council. We have one that's targeting towards the Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area. We are more north in Napa County, and then there's one in Chico area, and there's actually 12 in California.
Okay. Wow.
So I could keep listing all of them, and all of and I know all of the councils, and they're amazing women, and we're all in the same team doing such amazing work and such amazing things for girls, all aligned on just helping girls wherever you are,
Right.
and I invite you, however you do, to donate and support these nonprofits. They are all needing funding, right? Um, what I wanted to highlight with regards to where we are is really how the philanthropic disparity is quite starking
Mm.
when I had learned about this. And what that means is our need in our counties is the same as San Francisco City in that sense. Like the girls and the youth, the need there of needing support and all that is comparable. However, compared to that, $11,000 will go to San Francisco, and we would receive 168 in Solano County. So that's the difference. That's
Wow.
per capita, basically, of philanthropic dollars. San Francisco would receive 11,000. One of our
Wow.
counties, which is the lowest in the region, Solano County, 168.
Oh my
And
gosh.
that's the disparity. We have a high need, but the philanthropic community here is struggling, and so we are always looking for help. We're always looking for that need, and Napa and Sonoma is pretty much in that similar ballpark also. So to me, that's my passion, is that we should be helping girls that need this the most, that would not otherwise have this opportunity. These girls would not have this opportunity if it were not for supporters, donors, the help of the community.
Right.
And that's what is so important about, and I'm speaking not just about youth, but like all nonprofits in our area, right, are having this crisis. But
Right.
yeah,
And it's
yeah. So
most needed there. It seems like it's most needed there as well.
it is, it is. And to add on that on a national level, though, is that only 2% of overall philanthropic dollars go to women organizations.
Wow. I had no idea.
Yes. Yeah.
That's
So
wow.
wherever you are, all your listeners out there, wherever you are in the United States, support women nonprofit because they only receive 2%. Like that's crazy.
That doesn't make any sense. So it's a little bit like Girls and Boys Club after school programs. It sounds a little similar to that.
A little bit. Yeah. Yeah. But of course yes. And in a lot of ways we partner with them in various different regions. I think there is some partnerships for us. Like the difference between the curriculums is that we are very much about active emphasis on both the social emotional learning as well as
Mm.
the moving. And those are, very active, uh, intentional parts of how we are conducting the curriculum.
So
And
tell us what's an average afternoon like? So the girls,
mm,
because you're instilling so much confidence, resilience, empathy, leadership skills that will last a lifetime. So it's more than just running, clearly. So what's an afternoon like when the girls get to you? And do they have a
yeah,
uniform? Do you tell them what to wear? Like, where does the structure come in, and where does their freedom come in, and how does that look?
yeah. So we'll have them after school in small groups intentionally also. So we only do groups of 15 or two volunteer coaches. So, and we'll train the coaches prior to that, but they all meet twice a week with us right after school for about an hour and a half, hour 15 or so. And we have a curriculum for the coaches to go through. So it's very much that's the structure is that there's something that they can easily follow, these coaches. And then they basically go in a circle so everyone gets to see everybody and hear
Mm.
everyone have that attention. And they'll kind of alternate between having circle time where they're kind of talking about a theme and a lesson for that day. And then they'll mix it with then doing some stretches and moving. And we slowly build up to doing laps. We have a main workout section where they are doing laps, but we are always emphasizing how you need to go at your own pace. We call it happy pace. And and it's yes, and it's happy pace, not just for running, but also in life. Everyone is running at different speeds, right? Running at different journeys. And so
Absolutely.
yeah, so it's a constant reminder of that. So the curriculum is built where uh, you start off with lessons where you're really doing that self discovery and building your own self confidence, knowing who you are, what makes you unique is so special, and really giving these thoughtful questions for to ask the girls and have them reflect, have them share. We are in a very inclusive space, so we definitely have team agreements where we're upholding, which is we're going to listen to everyone.
Mm.
One person gets to speak at a time and the others are going to listen. We're here to support one another. So all of these things that really reinforce positive behavior in knowing that you're a team and you're here to support one another. They don't wear uniforms, so really we just emphasize be comfortable, wear some shoes that you're gonna, run in or move in. They do at the end do get a shirt, so everyone has a nice colorful Girls on the Run T-shirt midway through. But and the girls love that stuff too. But it's really about building the friendships and really
Right.
building connection.
And
And
the
I love
community.
it absolutely. And I love seeing in the start of the program we go on for 8 weeks. And at the start of it, you know those girls that are going to be a little quiet. They're just
Right.
really curved, right? Um, and on the flip side, you're going to have some girls that are just like, I'm raising my hand all the time, and I'm going to be the contributor. But at the end, you see those girls that like didn't want to speak up, and they're the ones that are raising their hand, and they're
So
the
great.
ones that just keep talking. You have to tell them like, okay, let's like let's pay attention here. Um, but it's just so wonderful to see the transformation. That's what fuels me personally to keep
Right.
coaching is seeing it in action, seeing how this really makes a difference for every single one of these girls. It's just like such a joy to see.
And so what if a younger person wanted to mentor? If there was, can
Mm,
high school students mentor or young adults? I know I have a young girl coming from the high school and she wants to learn about real estate, but sometimes those kids want to get involved at an early age into philanthropy and helping other young people. Is there a way people can do that, the younger generation?
Yes, absolutely. We have what we call junior coaches, so
Oh,
16 and older. We love that. We love having junior coaches because, for one, the younger girls really relate to a youngish coach, right? There's like this
okay.
that relatability there instantly. But what that also builds is this sense of our younger generation understanding this concept of giving back and how again like they're this sense of community, how they're bigger than themselves and how they can make an impact. And they see it, they can experience that
Yeah.
also. So, yeah, oftentimes our junior coaches do end up in acts of service professionally when they're older, or they come back and also continue to coach. Like, we just love so many of the stories. And so many of our junior coaches had taken the program when they were
Oh,
younger.
I love
And
that.
yeah, and so they see how that mentor had really impacted them, and they're like, "I wanna do that for another girl." So, like, we just love hearing stories about our alum coming back and being our coaches.
Those are great success stories. I was going to ask you some success stories. Well,
Mhm.
that's a great one when they come back. My son is a lacrosse coach. He played lacrosse and now he goes back and coaches. And and he's watched now he's almost 30 and he's watched these young kids that he's watched them grow up. And it's so great to see the younger generation come back and help out. And they really bond the younger, they're 10 years older maybe. It's so cute to see them bond like that, and they really resonate with the younger coaches. It's
Yeah,
really sweet. So in today's world of social media, anxiety, and constant comparison, and these are very difficult years with who you're training and coaching, what are the biggest challenges facing girls ages 8 to 13, and how do girls on the run help them navigate those pressures?
yeah. Well, I mean, you got it right there. It's a different age than when we were growing up,
Right,
uh, and definitely more complex. And what we are trying to help girls realize is how to effectively manage their stress, realize their emotions, build that awareness, build compassion for one another.
right,
Um, yeah, and what social media I think has really challenged our youth is on that compassion that I've observed is and me being from influencer marketing, right? I've seen
right,
how I've sort of lived and breathed it for so long, and I've seen
right,
it I've seen it evolve as well and see how it affects youth is it's so easy for someone to make a comment or do something when they're not in front of you and not like
right,
they can say something mean, right? Because they don't see that consequence. And when we are here at Girls on the Run trying to build that connection, it's just really helping them realize your words really matter. What you
right,
say matters to someone else. Um, this aspect of really truly listening to one another and building that empathy, building that compassion, hopefully will allow social media, which is here to stay, but use it for more of a positive outlet
right,
as opposed to a negative one, and building these personal connections and realizing how important it is to find the right friends and make some good choices that are uplifting you and converting your negative self-talk, which we all have and we constantly
right,
battle with. How are you going to convert that to positive? How are you going to um, s- not let someone else who's saying negative things to you, whether that's yourself or whether it's your friend or a loved one or your teacher, like how can you prevent that from letting that consume you and realizing that you are confident with who you are, so building that resilience and all of
right,
that. And we know that girls are facing a lot of hard things and a lot of hard challenges, uh, more so than before. So building that resilience, and inviting them to know that the hard things aren't going to go away,
right.
but really, what are you going to do with it? So, uh, just building all of those tools to help it. So that's what I love, and it's at this age where they are absorbing all of these things. They're still learning. They're still listening to adults
Right,
versus adolescents where they've already kind of had doubts, and that's, they're basically transitioning into a time where society is going to tell them how they should be and how they should think. So if you're able to teach them a little bit where they don't need to listen to that, they already have everything they have to be who they are and be powerful and unique and amazing as individuals. The earlier you can catch them to realize this, the better off they're going to develop as
Right.
they get into their, teens and adulthood. So that's really why we love, that's the intention of why it's important to have it at this age as opposed to any other age.
I mean, what you're instilling them today is what I train agents in real estate. It's so funny. I talk about first it was the 3 C's, then the 5 C's, and now this is 7 C's. But basically, you're talking about compassion, whether we have compassion for our colleagues in whatever business we're in, but having compassion for the clients, what they're going through. And this is compassion for the young girls and their friends and their peers. So to be compassionate. And I hear you're instilling confidence in them because you're supporting them. You're seeing the girls, you're getting the girls to support one another. And so they're supporting one another. And instilling confidence in them. And then by getting them to move and to act and to move their body, they're feeling confident in their ability to actually perform. And you're pushing them a little bit, not hard, I'm sure, but they're pushing themselves to
Yeah.
to move and to find that confidence physically. So it's emotional and physical and mental. You're giving
Hmm.
them that to combat and be more resilient by challenging them. It
You
sounds
got
amazing.
it. You got it. You would be
Thomas,
set up so perfectly to be a coach.
I want to ask you a question, then I start answering it myself. I'm like, turn off, Debbie. Just let her talk. You don't have to think.
No, I love it. I love it. It's the active listening, we're really connecting in that.
Oh my God. It's just such a great program. I totally get it. As a certified life coach, you've helped adults transform their thinking. How
Mhm.
do the mindset tools you teach compare to what Girls on the Run instills in young girls?
Oh, it's so aligned.
Right?
And just like you're just mentioning how you're teaching your team, right? And so much of it is the life coaching for adults is similar in so many ways. It's just delivered, in a
Right.
maybe a separate language or different ways of doing that. But um, life coaching, and what I've realized is how much of our own thoughts
Mm.
really dictate how we react, how we feel, how and our next decision to do something about that, right? Like if we are feeling like it's too hard, it's detrimental, your actions are going to lead to still doing that and validating that, and just learning about the science of that, how your brain works. It's just, in some ways your brain is not very smart. It's just this computer that's doing what you're asking it to do. If you're
Right.
thinking this negative thing, it's going to be like, okay, well, let me show you more negative things. That's cool. That's what's you're making you feel safe. And but if you start training your mind to be positive and know that you can do it, guess what? All of that's going to come to you. And I've loved seeing that experience for me personally, and I love seeing that for people that I have coached, and how
Right.
that's the power of the mind is just like it's so amazing. And that's what we're
Totally.
teaching the girls too, right? But just it's delivered differently so that they can understand it. And I'm
Right.
hoping that adults can really capture more of that philosophical aspect of it and build that self-awareness. I mean, I think the very first thing in terms of coaching anyone is really, are you self-aware? Are you really realizing what's happening? Because you can't change if you're not aware of it. You'll
Right.
constantly live in this curtain of I have nothing wrong with me, right? But if you are realizing I don't like this aspect of myself, and it's happening, I need to stop it now and change it. That is the first step to change. So yeah,
I speak about it in everything I do, that as the challenges in front of me, I've learned to reframe it instead of a challenge like with the marathon, running it on mindset. I reframed it to, well, I'm not going to war. I'm just running a race. So whatever it is for you, do you talk about that in coaching or with the girls about reframing their thought process?
absolutely. Absolutely. We have a number of lessons. The big one is around the happy pace, right? That's
I love
really
that.
about
That's cute.
don't compare yourself to others, and
Right.
happy pace is really you. And we do a lot of experiential activities to have them really understand that concept. Um, but then we also focus on negative self talk versus
Mhm.
positive, and help them apply some of the ways they could convert a particular phrase to a positive one. So they get some practical application of it and really understanding it.
Right.
So yeah, for sure, that is a huge one, is just really reframing the mindset. And the earlier we could do it, the better.
But I was going to say, and these young women are going to grow up and be hopefully running our country someday. So it's so
Yep.
important to teach them when they're young. Which
Hmm.
one story from a participant or a coach or a family member that perfectly captures the life-changing impact of Girls on the Run? I'm sure you have many stories, but does anything really
Oh.
stick out? I mean, every day I'm sure you're probably seeing really wonderful things happen, but
Hmm.
sometimes
Hmm.
there's one. Sometimes there's one that just touches your heart.
Well, there was one that it's just coming to mind on a particular aspect of this, is that my program manager told me happened at one of her groups.
Uh-huh.
And what I love about it is it's this type of thing happens for big things and small things.
Right.
And this was, in theory, you could argue it's a small thing, but it's kind of a big thing still. So as part of our group, we give out like a granola bar snack at the start of the before we start the program. And um and we give out one bar per girl, because we need to make sure we have enough for the whole season. But inevitably girls want to get more than one because they're hungry, and all of that, right? And so there's this one girl who noticed that a bunch of her friends, so they were all friends, they were wanting to take more than one bar. And she noticed one of the girls was taking, or I think a few of them were taking more than one bar. And instead of this one girl, she, instead of going along with it and feeling pressured that she needs to also go along with her friends and take a bar, she stood up to them and went to the coach and said, I don't think it's right for for so and so and so and so to be taking more than one. It's just not fair. And for her, it was a big deal because she had learned from Girls on the Run to stick up and stand up for herself. And when it's something that she believes in, she should speak up. And so for her, even though we're talking about snacks, it was a big thing. And
Right.
and it, because it's not about the snack, it's really about, oh, is my friend going to be upset with me that I told on her or whatever,
Right.
like there's, and we deal with those kind of situations all the time as adults, even where,
Sure.
like, oh, should I say something because I disagree with that concept? Are they going to not like me anymore? Like, so all of
Right.
those things are happening, but she did it, and she's still friends with him, but and she was really just acknowledged for being able to stand up for what she believed in, and it all went fine. And but she then felt empowered
Oh,
to
God.
realize she had her voice, she could speak up, and that slowly just builds those micro levels of confidence, like these
Right.
one little steps, right? They build up. It's not going to be like a, oh, 0 to 100 and all of a sudden I'm like feeling
Right.
great. It's these little steps, and so this was her
Right.
one little step.
That's
And that's what we love about the program, is that you are building these little pieces one at a time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're building a foundation for these girls. A course that I wrote on
absolutely.
Foundation for Success, you're building a foundation, you're giving these girls a foundation. Um, I mean, it's not unlike the slogan goes around now is if you see something, say something, right? It's like if
Right.
they're still trying to get it into adults, not even just young children. It's like if you see, people don't say, they can see horrible things and they don't say anything. So it's just one way to what you're teaching the girls is to speak up and stand up for yourself. So I can't believe how fast the 50 minutes went. So it's crazy. So how do
We could
someone,
still keep talking.
I know, how does someone get in touch with you, and how could we help you and Girls on the Run? We would all like to support you. Tell us how that. What,
Yes. Well, our website, we're on Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn. I think we're most active on Instagram, so definitely check us out there, which is we are GOTR, which is the acronym for Girls on the Run, and North Bay. So GOTR North Bay. That's our Instagram channel. But then we have our website, which is the same thing. It's gotrnorthbay.org. And I'm happy to share that with you, Debbie, in terms of the links. But that's really where all of our information is, and you can check out everything about our programs, how to support us in many different ways. We're always looking sponsors for our 5K as well. So
and when is the 5K? Tell us when the 5K is.
our next 5K, so we run every spring and fall season. So fall's coming up, and that's going to be on Sunday, November 8th. And that will
And
be
anyone
in Napa.
can do it. Anyone can
It
do
is
it.
absolutely. We are open to the community. We actually love when the community comes out and supports these girls.
Wonderful.
It's really part of their final culmination of the 8 weeks. Is they're like doing this all together. So all of our school sites in the counties come together for this one run. It's I think
Nice.
1,000 people just here, just cheering on everyone. So
Nice.
it's such a amazing, energetic, uplifting time.
Right.
Great way to spend your morning.
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
yeah,
Well, it'll
definitely
definitely be in the show notes, and then I will also post on Instagram a clip of us, and then I'll tag you on it as well. You can also go to DebbieRunsTheWorld.com, and you can pick your goal, and you can support straight through. Debbie Runs the World straight through. It'll go right to Girls on the Run. And then what I want you to do is put your website and then put a goal, something that you're willing to achieve, that you're looking to achieve. And you'll pick a spot on one of the continents. So I am so excited to know you. I'm looking forward to working with you and coming out for the race. But long before then, I'm going to come out and coach with you and see what this is all about. But it's incredible. I can see it, and they're lucky to have you. You're a very talented person, very experienced, and so they're fortunate to have you. So thank you so much for joining us today.
I loved having this conversation with you, and how we are just so like-minded in all of this area of uplifting adults, women, girls,
Yeah.
like all of that. It's really filled my heart. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Tune in each week for another episode of Mastering the Art of Success with host Debbie DiMaggio. Thursdays, 2 p.m. Eastern. Real stories, real strategies, real success.